If you wanted to say, I will go get some coffee, or maybe I'm flying out tomorrow, how would you say those sentences in Russian? What rules do you need to know for you to make those sentences and for you to talk about your future plans? Let's talk about that today. In Russian, for us to talk about future, we only need to know a few grammatical rules. We don't need to learn any new words really, just a few grammar rules and some structures. We have three ways of forming future. First one is when we talk about simple facts. I will do this, she will do that, that will happen, this will happen. Second one is when talking about certain processes. I will be doing something, she will be working, I will be talking, things like that. And then lastly, number three is when talking about pre-planned actions. When we know exactly when something is going to happen, where it's going to happen. It's things that we are so sure that are going to happen in the future, we can talk about them with this third way. Let's break each of them down and learn how to use all of them. Number one is when talking about simple facts. In English, the structure would be I will do this. Okay, I will do. Not I will be doing, but I will do. I will go, I will buy, I will be there, I will get there, I'll be right back, things like that. But what is the structure for this expression in Russian? Let's say I wanted to say, I will call you. Okay? In Russian, to call is звонить. We need to modify this звонить verb for us to talk about the future. Right now, this simply means to call. First thing that we do is we conjugate it to the appropriate person. Conjugation is when we change the end of the word, of the verb rather, to fit who is doing the action. If you don't know conjugation, it's going to be right here with this information card, okay? But if I wanted to say, I will call, we have to conjugate for I, for я. And the proper way to conjugate this звонить is звоню. So we're going to take this звоню. Right now, this verb means I am calling. Звоню. We have to make it future. All we do is we add a prefix. Позвоню. Позвоню now means I will call. This prefix по. Let's talk about prefixes just slightly in Russian. In Russian, we have 40 plus different prefixes. A prefix is what comes before a verb. Like right here, по comes before звоню. Each of them gonna have specific meanings, short meanings. And it's like a puzzle. We get a meaning of a prefix plus a meaning of a stem or a verb, and we get a combined meaning. По, on the other hand, does not have any meaning attached to it, unlike other prefixes. Let's say I wanted to say перезвоню. Prefix пере with звоню means I will call you back. Okay, to call back, перезвоню. Let's say зазвоню. Зазвоню means to start ringing. When, let's say, a phone starts ringing, that's зазвоню. As you can see, we changed the meaning from to call back, to start ringing, and that's what prefixes are going to do in Russian. They kind of add a specific meaning to a verb. Going back to позвоню, though, по is not going to have that meaning attached. It's simply used for grammatical purposes, for us to make this verb future tense. And that's really it. Okay? So, позвоню, that's the form of a verb. Now, it doesn't mean I will call you. A full sentence would be я позвоню тебе. We simply have to make it more, I guess, full and complete sentence. So if you want to say, I will do, I will go, I'll be back, just simply conjugate a verb and add a prefix. That's it. That's how you talk about facts in the future. The second way of forming future, it's much easier. But before we get there, guys, join our Be Fluent Camp with the first link in the description. It's our 8-week intensive course for all of you guys. Regardless of your level, beginner, intermediate, or advanced, we have a program for you. And by the end of the 8-week intensive, you will get to the next level of your Russian. When it comes to grammar, vocabulary, speaking, and listening, we take care of all the things that you would need for you to speak Russian better. Check us out with the first link in the description. We are starting very soon. If you are watching this video on the day of release, it's 3 days until we start the camp. But we have them twice a year, so even if you are late to that session, you can always register for the next upcoming session. Check it all out with the first link in the description. Second way of forming future is much easier. The second way of forming future is used when you want to say, I will be doing something. I will be eating in 2 hours. I'll be working from 5 to 10. I will be talking to my wife, whatever it might be. I will be doing something. That's the second way, second type of future actions. And we, of course, have a different structure for it. But this one will be much, much easier compared to the first one. We take one verb, быть, which means to be, and we conjugate it to all the proper forms. So here are all the forms of this word быть. Я буду, I will be, ты будешь, you will be, мы будем, we will be, вы будете, you plural will be, он будет, he will be, same conjugation for он, она, оно, he, she, it, all of that, and они будут, they will be. So depending on who is doing the action, choose one of these forms. Okay? So let's say I wanted to say, I will be working. We need я буду for that. So let's take я буду, put it in the middle. Я буду means I will be. It doesn't have the verb to work. I will be working. It doesn't have that verb. So we have to add it. We simply add the verb as is. Я буду работать. Работать means to work, and it's an infinitive. We don't add a prefix, we don't conjugate it, we take it as is. We take it the dictionary translator kind of translation and just simply put it here. We don't need to do anything to it. So the only thing you have to remember about the second way of forming future is this буду, okay? And all of its proper forms. Just choose the proper form, depending on the subject. Right here is я, that's why we use буду. Choose the proper form of this verb быть, and then form your sentences. Let's say I want to say, I will be reading. Я буду читать. We simply change the last verb to read. If I wanted to say, I will be eating. Я буду есть. I will be eating. Okay? If I want to say, you're going to be eating, I would say, ты будешь есть. Okay? So see how буду changed to будешь? Just because я changed to ты. And that's it. That's the only thing that you have to remember for the second way of forming future. But a quick, I guess, usage and how common both of these are. Even though the second way is much easier than the first, it's not as common. Russians go for this prefix plus verb combination because logically we talk about facts more often than we're talking about processes in the future. We are more likely to say, I will do, I will go, I will buy, versus I will be doing something. But this third way of forming future is even easier than the second one. But it's used even less frequently. Maybe that's why it's so easy. In Russian, we can simply use present tense to talk about future pre-planned actions. I can say, я выступаю завтра. I am performing tomorrow. And this will be the future tense, even though выступаю is present. It's I am performing tomorrow. But in English, we have the same exact thing. I can say, I'm flying tomorrow at 5. I am flying tomorrow, not I will be flying tomorrow. But we can only say this because it's a pre-planned, scheduled event. A certain scheduled event at a certain time, at a certain place, we know exactly what's going to happen. That's why we can use just simply present tense for it. And the same I can say in Russian too. Я лечу завтра в 5. I'm flying tomorrow at 5. Лечу is just simply present tense. Doesn't have a prefix, doesn't have буду and all of that. It's simply present tense. All you have to know is conjugation of this verb лечу. And that's it. Once again, only if you're talking about a pre-planned action. So that's the three ways of forming future: facts, processes, and pre-planned actions. I hope now you know how to say it, and I'll be waiting for you guys over at BFluent Camp. Join us with this button right here. We have 8 weeks of intensive Russian learning, by the end of which you will be speaking Russian so much better than you can now. Regardless of your current level, you'll get to the next level in Russian. See you over there. Press this button right now.